Today we're going to talk about an essential tool you should have, particularly if you're interested in buying vintage equipment or find something pleasing to you from an estate. And it's called a Variac. And what a Variac does, it allows you to control how much current and voltage is going into your purchase. Now, why do you need a Variac? Well, on equipment that has been sitting around for a long time, or let's say old vacuum tube equipment, a lot of times what's happened is the capacitors in them are no longer formed, in other words, charged. And so if you suddenly introduce them to full current load, it's commonplace, not too common, but they'll explode because they're not formed up. So the way to avoid damaging your new toy is to have a Variac. Some of them have meters, some may have one outlet, this one happens to have two. It's also fused as if you have a dramatic failure. And what you do is you plug your purchase, your little prize, into here with a setting at 0. And you bring this up in steps. You may start out at 20, maybe 40 volts. And what you're doing is you're introducing current to the product, and in particular, allowing the capacitors in the unit to charge up and form. So you may do this for 4 or 5 hours at, let's say, 30 or 40, step it up to 70, give it a couple more hours, and then slowly bring it around to where you're giving it the full current as if you plugged it in. This way you're giving the capacitors a chance to form and set up and not explode. We use this when we encounter vintage vacuum tube equipment in particular, something that may have been sitting on a shelf for 20 or 30 years. We don't want to hammer it straight out of the chute. We want to give it a chance to figure out what's going on rather than creating far more problems in this destruction than if we just simply use something like this. These are available all over the web. There's various qualities of them, and but it gives you a chance to at least bring your product up without causing problems. I do recommend them if you're buying vintage equipment or garage sale find, flea market finds. You have no idea how long that's been sitting unplugged and uncharged. So this is a handy little tip for everybody. Go ahead and enjoy your little finds that you have, but I want to make sure that you get to enjoy them rather than finding yourself with a mess.